another episode of Club ENTP, everybody. Yeah, woohoo! Hey, you like the new place? You think it's okay? Good, awesome. Make sure you comment below. I want to hear all of your wonderful comments out there. Can't wait. Well, once again, I am your host, Daparu at the Crusha.
Get Daparu the Crusha's name out your motherfucking mouth.
Okay. Stay calm. I've heard about Phantom of the Opera, but I think that was Grouch of the Oscars. Or maybe Oscar the Grouch of Sesame Street. I don't know, that was pretty damn childish. Anyways, today we have two international ENTP guests on the show, so stay tuned for that. But first, should you be tested more than one time to determine your general type? The answer is yes. If you've only been tested one time, you should do a little research on the people that claim to be the same type as you. Ask yourself if you identify with those individuals, and check out the memes too, and just see if there's any truth in them. And also it might even help to check out your enneagram. Just pinpoint your exact demeanor. That's always interesting. So even if you feel pretty certain that you are a type, it's important to test again, just to make sure you weren't mistyped, since 51% of all the people who tested for a second time tested as another type. Why is that? It could be for several reasons. One is honesty. You might not answer the question honestly because you're trying to impress someone, or you're trying to type as a certain type. And when I was typed, my first test, I've been tested 4 times, I had no idea what an ENTP was because I wasn't familiar with MBTI. So I had no preconceived ideas of how I wished to type, so I had no preconceived answers. Another reason has to do with the biases that you have during self-reporting. Objective self-evaluation isn't something people just usually do on a regular basis unless you're like me. and so it turns into something more like idealism or nostalgia. And you're actually, I think, probably 3 different people at the same time. You're the person that other people believe you to be, you're the person that you believe that you are, and there's the person that you actually are. So there are many reasons to retake the MBTI test, especially if you have aged a bit. We tend to self-identify more accurately when we get a little bit older. And finally, if you are very rare and you type as an ENTP, even 3 or 4 times like I did, it doesn't matter unless host Eric says that you are an ENTP. But warning, if you have a competing YouTube channel, good luck getting him to admit that you are one. And so there you have it. So are you guys ready to get on with the show? Yeah? All right. Well, do you believe in ghosts? Because I have one for you all the way from Morocco. Yes, and also from the East Coast by way of Brazil, we have Danny, another ENTP. Give them another big applause, everybody.
Yeah. He's wearing black. He's wearing fucking black.
Where's your sunglasses, man?
Oh, boys. I was telling him I was about to lose it if you were wearing black. And you're actually wearing black. I was gonna tell you guys, make sure you wear black and bring your sunglasses. So, I don't know. I just felt that was appropriate.
Welcome, everyone. We have not 1, not 2, but 3 ENTPs for your displeasure. And today we have all the way from Morocco, a man they only call Ghost. And down in the other hemisphere of the Earth, we have another well-known ENTP on the Internet of Things, known as Daniel. And welcome to Club ENTP, guys. This is your club. Hey, they really like you. That is awesome. Wow. I think there's probably a lot of INFJ girls out there probably going, oh, are they single?
The crowd is cheering. They're going, whoa.
So, ladies, what about them? Just drop that in. Boom.
Yeah.
Which is your favorite type? I'll narrow it down to, because that was just like, I just did that deliberately to give you all the possibilities of ladies. Go. All right, that's such a broad topic, but in more specific manner, for the sake of time, we will say, which type have you found to be the most compatible and the least compatible in your two young men's experiences? Because you are both very, very young, so I would imagine I'm doubled your age. So, but I don't claim to have double your experience. I've been married twice, so I've been locked in a cage for a long time.
A lion in the cage. And then when you came out, just like wanted to fucking roar and like, and here you are.
Well, I wouldn't exactly classify it as coming out. But anyways, what about you, Ghost? What have you found to be the most compatible type in your dating history?
The most compatible type that...
If it doesn't get you in trouble.
Actually, like the type that I have the least problems with would be the ISFJ, due to the huge difference between us in that we do not very much clash, except when I start to talk about subjects in a deep matter. Well, that's what I believe. Like, it's the difference that is gonna create something new. It's gonna snap me out of my thoughts and ideas. It's obviously not the same goal. Having friends, they have to be somehow similar to us. But when it comes to a partner, there has to be a difference, because we bring different things to the table and we interact differently, and it's a totally different interaction. I do not believe that a partner could be a friend. You can get close to a partner, you can understand each other, but if you make your partner a friend, that's the recipe for disaster, in my own opinion.
Right.
So that's my pick on it. I've known ENTJs, INTPs, INFJs, who else? INFPs. These are the one that I talk to the most. ENFJs as well.
ENFJs, oh.
Yeah. That's where kind of it stops. Yeah.
Jeez, I mean, you named just about every type, so that would be interesting. By the way, Ghost, do you mind sharing your approximate age?
I'm 32.
32, all right. And all the way on to the other coast, the right coast, I'm on the left coast, from Massachusetts. Daniel, what have you found to be your most favorable or desirable? Yeah, that would be maybe desirable type in your experience. As a 21-year-old man, I believe you're 21, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, just for you ladies out there, what's going on?
All right, so let's start from the beginning. Let's say I've dated quite a good amount of girls and got into the MBTI atmosphere, the Myers-Briggs type indicator atmosphere, not so long ago. And from that time to here, and from my knowledge now and understanding what girls I dated and what they were, I'd say that I did enjoy quite a lot to be with INFJs, but there's just way too much clashing because of my views of how men and women should be. The ENTJ I see as a challenge. It's very challenging, but it's fun at the same time. But you want that kind of challenge with your guy friends, not with a girlfriend. Ghost said, you don't want to be kind of in a friendship with your girl, because then it starts to get problematic. and many other things. So I did an ENTJ before INFJ. I've had some fluctuations towards INTJs as well, but you know, they're more of like a rare breed, and they're kind of like a little. It's hard to deal with them a little bit, but so far, right now I'm seeing this girl. She's an ISFJ, and I have to agree with Ghost. They are kind of like exactly what I'm looking for. They are feminine, agreeable. They care for you and all of that. Of course, sometimes they will get in a bad mood if you start talking about certain subjects, certain topics that, you know, you should talk with your friends and not with a girl about. But so far, they treat me like a king, and all men out there want to be treated like such. You know, be a king in your own house. If you don't have a say in what to do in your own house, then you don't have a say in what to do anywhere else outside in the world. You just feel completely useless, and we're not out here on the dating pool to feel like useless schmucks. We want to, you know, have power over our own demands and the demands of like the people that we care about. Because if you're caring about someone, you are responsible for them. It's like, ladies, excuse me for saying this, but it's like, think of a dog or a child. If you can't say what is best for them, like what you see is best for them, and you see them getting, you know, screwed over, and you're responsible for them, that weight is going to fall on your back. So what you have to do is you have to, you know, have some authority over the relationship. So I'd say definitely an ISFJ, because they are, you know, compliant. They are good at treating people better than, you know, other types, I believe. INFPs can kind of be similar, but then there's the FI, which is, you know, internal feelings and all of that. It's more about themselves, so you have to kind of like work around that, and it can be quite difficult if you don't know what to do, and even if you do, it's quite a challenge.
Yeah. And I just find it interesting that the youngest among us looks the oldest. Ghost, you're the middle child here. But so, you know, I've been married, like I said, 2 times, and both of them were ENTJs, so ENTJs, which I would highly recommend against. Well, actually, no, I take that back. They're feelers. What am I thinking? T. It's ENFJs. That's what they were, both of them, and they were both born in Transylvania, Romania. So, you know, I was like usually had to wear, you know, like turtleneck and garlic head.
Vampire.
Exactly. And I was really, it was a great culture, but I definitely realized I should never be with an extroverted female. Do you find that being with extroverted women it can be exciting, but it's also can be you know, a little insane?
Well, I do believe that extroverted females are high maintenance, no matter who they are. Like, there is not an extroverted female that I can think of. Maybe, like, ENTJs could be fun to befriend, but like, they have this huge amount of energy, and they need a lot of attention. And as we are both extroverted, we need to empty our minds. As ENTPs, they need to empty their emotions, or their frustrations, or share with you maybe their happiness. You know, it can be anything as long as it's emotional, and they need to let it out. And you're going to be sitting and listening to her and going. And then if you're a busy man and you have things going on for you, she will always keep demanding that you give her attention, you give her this, you give her that. Then you find yourself drained, and it's not going to lead anywhere, and it's going to spoil all your life. So I would highly recommend Introverts.
That's it. That is it. You just nailed it. I will also attest, high maintenance extrovert women. That's all I've ever really encountered.
my entire life was extroverted women. And so up until now, I'm in a relationship with an INFJ, which has been fantastic. I've never dreamed that being with a feeler type would actually be a good thing, and I was wrong. But I've found that for me personally, I really need that intuition. So as far as an ISFJ, I don't think that I would personally be as compatible. Maybe it's because of my age. I don't know. I think that could be because I'm 52. That might be part of the reason why, perhaps, especially now, I would very much like to have an introverted partner as opposed to an extroverted partner.
Well, in my opinion, I would go for introverted but not intuitive. Because when she's intuitive, for example, let's go for INFJ, or INFJs, I'm going to start.
You're going to make some enemies here.
Yeah, definitely. I have enemies all over the world. It's not going to change. So, with the NI hero, they can get, especially as ENTPs, we have an E hero, which makes us unpredictable, and which makes us stressful to INFJs and INTJs. So if you take, for example, INFJs and INTJs are very similar. If you take the INFJ, she's gonna feel something, you're behaving without much of an FE, and then she's gonna feel, like she's gonna always be there and try to grab something that you did or you said, and she will take it and frustrate herself with it and shock herself with it and then blame it on you, and then you cannot communicate effectively with her when her emotions are engaged, and it's gonna be very much a headache for the both of us.
Yeah, so they use it as an arsenal to for destruction. They get all these little quote-unquote facts and kind of try to use it against you, saying that it's your fault, but they are kind of brainwashing themselves into thinking that.
Exactly.
Now,
so right, so wrong.
Part. Yeah.
But something tells me, Daniel, that it was your fault.
It was definitely my fault. It always was.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point. Yeah.
For the extroverted part that you asked, the previous question that you just asked, I say yes. Being with an extroverted female as an extrovert is quite challenging. It can be fun, let's say during the bedroom and stuff like that, because she's a brat or something like that, and when you get to get them to submit, it's really fun. But in everyday life and the other aspects of the relationship, it can be quite a challenge, and let's say we as men are looking for something to add to our lives and not something to add stress.
Right. Yeah. And I will tell you, being married and divorced twice, you learn to effectively,
attack the red flags.
Yeah, you will avoid certain things knowing what the reaction is. So, I mean, honestly, I think that if you give them less information to process, you can resolve it. Just give them all of your passwords to your accounts and just be an open book, then you're not gonna have any problems. I have not had any real issues in that type.
The only problem you will have, I will state what it is after you finish. My bad.
No, you're good. I'm good.
Okay, the only problem you will have is that you're going to be too predictable, and I don't know, women do love some drama, you gotta be a little bit mysterious. That's why a lot of girls do like ENTPs, because of the mysterious ways that the NE works, the extroverted intuition, it's basically everywhere and nowhere at the same time. So they're like, shit, I cannot predict what the heck is going on. What's that?
Yeah. I would be amazed if she could predict anything that I do. Absolutely.
And when it comes to the red flags we were talking about, yes, we will see the red flags, but well, from personal experience and from the experience of like many other guys that I talk to, we see them and we choose to ignore them sometimes just to get something wet. I'm not gonna say what, but it's
Sure. So that is a very interesting point. So I would then ask: is there any things that you have noticed about any particular type that was the least desirable for the ENTP?
Yeah, definitely. INTJs, they're like cats. And, you know, like cats will drop stuff from the table. They will drop it on the ground and they would act as if nothing happened, as if all of it was planned, and they're not blamable, if I might say. They do not accept to be criticized. They like to be worshipped. And I'm not that kind of person to worship anyone. Any mortal? Not my thing.
Yeah, how about you, Daniel?
Let's say I do hate shallow bitches. Like I don't know like about a specific type, but usually if they lack any intelligence whatsoever and they treat you badly and stuff like that, I don't need that in my life. Like it would be better to be alone than to be in bad company.
Exactly. Yeah, that leads me to the next topic is sapiosexuality. According to the ENTPs, we are, in general, attracted to intelligence. So have you found that you like the librarian type as opposed to the cheerleader type?
Definitely.
Sorry, cheerleaders.
Definitely.
How about you, Ghost?
Well, to me, as I said in the beginning, I do separate friendship from relationship. So, to me, what I'm looking for in a partner is not something challenging. I'm not looking for any sort of challenge from my partner, because life is already a challenge. It's a big challenge, actually. And if I'm gonna challenge life, society, work, all what I have to do on a daily basis. When I go home, I don't want to struggle with anybody. I want to go to a person that is going to be very simple, very down to earth. I will take care of that person with the best of my abilities, which I have done that in the past. And like I would definitely go for an SI dominance. I lack SI. So I see it in them. I see that they're clean, they're neat, and everything is going well for them, and I find it attractive because it's missing within me. When it comes to friendship, I like to have intuitives and male friendship. I do not believe that there is any kind of friendship between male and female. My male friends are INTPs, ENTJs, ENTPs, and that's pretty much it. Probably an ESTP, ISTP here and there, but here where it stops.
What do you think of host Eric?
Host Eric.
Eric Andre.
Eric Andre. That's the name of the guy. See, full circle, buddy. Ghost and I were talking about that. Eric Andre, the guy that with the ENTP with his little show. Very interesting.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I watched that thing and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, it's fucking hilarious. But it's very entertaining, and I love to see the reaction of the hosts, not the hosts, the people that are invited to the thing, and then they just like, what the fuck is going on? And basically that's what's inside of an ENTP's head sometimes.
Yeah, we just want to get that reaction from them. We just like to fuck with them. Now, when I was, in high school, I did this meta acting where I would create all this drama in the hallway, and I would play it off like it's real. And sometimes it would be to people who were bullying, like for instance the handicapped kids. I would just make a huge spectacle, and I'd be like, oh, look at you, and just like bring them like to their absolute lowest base. with the criticality of my tongue, and it was yeah. Or I would see a stranger, and I'd be like, oh, watch this guy, and I'd walk up to him and I'd say something absolutely fantastically absurd and get them to believe it. And that was what I just did for fun. And then you see Tom Green came up. He's the original ENTP guy that I heard about, and I was told and warned about that he has stolen my identity. I kind of look like him too. It's sad. Poor guy. But
if you're just undercover and tending to be yourself, but you're actually him, how can we know?
You can't. You cannot. It is
The voice recognition.
Yeah, it is really. It's kind of a thing that I believe that we are always intrigued on how people think, and so when we do something outlandish or bombastic, we're doing it to get the responses. It's kind of like bats and their radar, their sonar detection.
Yeah, definitely.
They bounce their.
That's exactly why I like doing the Russian accent. That's very true. The people react and I'm like, I knew it. Studying people around with the Russian accent.
Huh. I don't know why that said that. That is really bizarre. It says I'm running out of time. I don't know what that means. Am I dying? That means
You are.
Oh no! So hey, let's get some ideas on the upcoming fight. UFC coming up with. We have Gilbert. He's going to be fighting the Chimaev, and that's going to be quite a fight. Any predictions?
Well, I believe that Hamza Chimaev is gonna smash him. He's gonna smash him. He's gonna smash everybody.
So you think it's gonna go? Do you think it's gonna go past the first round, or do you think it's gonna go to a decision?
I think second round. If it, first round, but it could extend to the second round. That's where it's gonna stop. The Hamza Chimaev, he has a great training ethic. Him working out is insane. He's training for war. I don't know if he's gonna face the aliens. He's gonna fight the aliens. This is the type of guy that he is, and he's not heavy breathing while he's performing like tremendous amount of motions and techniques, and he's insane. He's from a different planet. He's made differently. He's built differently.
Yeah, he's only been hit 4 times in 3 fights. It's insane.
Wow.
And I think he's going to get tested in this one to a much higher degree because the experience of Gilbert, he is definitely he's up for the challenge. I do think he'll probably lose the decision. So let's see if we can see who's right after this airs. We'll see who's right, who's wrong. But I do think he wins, but by decision.
I believe he's gonna drop him into the ground and he's gonna grab his arm as he's usually doing. Whenever they want to stand up again, they put a hand on the floor and they want to stand up. He grabs the hand and he gets smashed into the thing.
He's very
over. He can also wrestle. That's the amazing fact about it.
I
can
think
him.
I think that'll cancel his wrestling cancels out Gilbert's jiu-jitsu. So I think it's going to be left on the feet, and I think that it's going to be a real hard night because if he goes past the third round, we don't know. He might get winded, Chimaev. So I'm looking to see how his endurance lasts against a top contender. So
yeah, he reminds me of Tyson. He's very aggressive and he just keep on going. Like how Tyson got defeated the first time, the guy just did wait and didn't go down and did wait to Tyson to burn his stamina, and then Tyson was cooked. Chimaev goes hard, aggressive, but it has limits. Even if he has good stamina, he's gonna get tired at some point, and his punches and all his actions are not gonna be as performant.
What about the other guy though? Do you think that because of the training regimen of the Chimaev, do you think that, let's say, the other guy will get tired faster, or what do you think goes?
Gilbert probably is. He's been 5 rounds before. and I think he wants to take him into the deep waters. I think it's got to be their strategy is to wear him down and get him to second guess himself, because he has so much self-belief that is the most dangerous weapon, I believe, in the octagon.
So it's like a fight between a crocodile or a water snake versus a tiger. Each of their techniques and strategies are like the best at their own point of origin, but once they clash, it's going to be like fluctuating between each other, and whoever has the best wits and physicality and everything will definitely win.
Yeah. You know what? We're actually running out of time, and I wanted to get into the dynamics of our differences in beliefs spiritually. And I think that would be a really great follow-up on the next time we meet, and perhaps next we'll have David here so we can actually have a more interesting and well-rounded, not that we aren't interesting, but it'll look more interesting on aesthetically. So I wanted to thank you guys for coming on all the way from Morocco and on the other side of the America here that we live on, and I wanted to give you an opportunity. First of all, Ghost, if you would like to plug your Discord or any other social medias where people can get in touch with you.
Oh yeah, sure, definitely. Well, you can find me on YouTube. It's Ghost Deeds, DEEDS.
Oh, it's right there.
Yeah. And I do gaming on YouTube. I present video games and multiplayers online as well. I do various things, and I'm gonna probably start another YouTube channel, and I'm gonna do some podcasts, and I'm gonna have some guests. Eventually, our friends here are gonna be my guests.
Awesome.
See you there.
Excellent. And how about you, Daniel? What is a great way to get in touch with you if people want to see what you're up to? You have a YouTube channel?
All right, so I do have a YouTube channel I just created. I am interested in doing voiceover acting, and the name of the YouTube channel is Fernandez Voiceover Acting. It's pretty long, but Fernandez with an S instead of a Z in the end. And for Discord, you can reach me at all capitals, caveman, hashtag 0229.
Nice. Excellent. Caveman, I like that.
Yeah, it's Instagram, it's the same thing. Fernandez Voiceover on Instagram.
Nice. And since you Ghost, I have a couple of seconds here. Since you speak Arabic, what am I singing? يا قلبي أجدن مالهم مفتقرون أسالي مالهم إنسان تلاقيهم مرة الله مشي خابي مشي ليهم ليهم عايشين يومينهم وحيي كلهم يا قلبي ما تسيبك منهم. How's that?
Great. It's a love song, isn't it?
حبيبي مولاي.
When it comes with Habibi, you know that it's a love song.
Oh yeah.
That's
سنين وليلك في عمي حبيبي 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 مولاي. Hey, I really love your culture. I really love the language, the music. It's one of the most beautiful sounds that I have ever experienced on Earth as a musician and multilinguist. So I would love to have you send me over some really cool things that I could maybe perhaps implement into some of my new music, because
I'll send you the best.
Excellent. Lots of violins.
The undying question.
Yes.
Are all ENTPs multilingual? Because the three over here are.
We're all multilingual. Wow, that's incredible. So I speak Romanian, and I'm trying to speak a little Creole. I know we talked about that a little bit, but I got to be around my homeboys down in Honduras to get that Creole going again. Spanish, I butcher that quite a bit because I take from my other Latin language of Romanian, and so that's really interesting. We should start another conversation about this next time. We'll talk about religion and languages or something like that. And anyways, I got 1 minute left, but thank you guys so much for coming out, and we'll do this all again really, really soon. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Everyone, thanks.
Everybody.
Yeah, our pleasure.
Awesome. And don't forget to wait for it.
Viewer mail? We can use viewer mail, don't we?
Of course, we gotta do that. That'll be, Daparu the steampunk.
Okay, here's the deal. It's time for viewer mail. First up is Inspire. That sounds familiar. I'll have to check out that channel later. They write, that was so much fun. My favorite part is viewer mail. Mine too. But flattery will get you nowhere. Except on viewer mail. Hey, I like the way you type. Last and probably least is Hideous Sales. He writes in and says, I've thought about stand-up, but political correctness killed stand-up. Probably do well with script writing. Well, Hideous Sales, maybe if you change your name to Soupy Sales, you would be funnier. And if stand-up is dead, try lay-down comedy instead. Well, that's all the time we have. Don't forget to write a comment below so I have something to read at the end of my next show. Like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Or, this will happen.